Good morning guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I'd do a little bit of a shorter video on just what I eat in the day. So I'm aiming to build muscle and lose fat at the moment, so I'm eating at a slight deficit or at maintenance level. It's around 1,900, 2,000 calories. My maintenance and my calorie deficit has actually gone up in the past year because I've been training more, I've been putting on more muscle. So as everyone knows, the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism is going to be. So your metabolic rates, or your metabolism, is how fast you burn calories and how many calories you burn during the day. So mine, since training, has gone up quite a lot, which is why I can afford to eat more and still be in a deficit. So my deficit when I first started training was actually really low, 1,700. We're sitting at 1,900 calories to 2,000 calories a day. Some weekends I go to 2,000 up to 2,300, you know, because I don't want to be so restrictive, and I want to have points where I can have takeaway, where I can have some alcohol if I want. But yeah, that's the aim, those calories, and I want to be trying to eat at least 5 portions of fruit and veg a day, which I've been managing to do quite well. I will put all the macros up of all the meals that I have on the screen so that you guys can see sort of what bits and bobs I'm eating. I'm going to take you through my breakfast, lunch, dinner, any snacks or any supplements I have throughout the day. So I hope you enjoy this video. Let's see what I eat during the day. So I'm going to be making some fruits for breakfast. Nice easy meal, and it's cheap, so I'm trying to do something realistic, which I have most days. I'm going to make sure though, this time I'm going to put the protein in last, because last time I cooked the protein with all the milk and the oats and it went lumpy, and protein doesn't mix well with heat, so you always have to put it in last. First off, 30 grams of oats in your saucepan, and then I'm going to add a little bit of peanut butter. Let's go for 15 grams if I can get it. The worst thing about getting peanut butter is you can't get it off a bloody spoon. 5 grams of honey, 150 mils of milk. We can add some milk if it's too thick or thin later on while it's cooking, because obviously when you add the protein powder at the end, it's going to get thicker. And then we're going to stick it on the hob. And I'm also going to have a cup of green tea with breakfast. Now I normally have black coffee, but I'm trying to wean myself off caffeine a little bit, and also I'm going to have pre-workout later for my leg day because it's going to be quite intense, so I feel like I need a little pick-me-up during my workout. I don't always have pre-workout, but on the days that I do have pre-workout, I probably won't have a coffee in the morning, or I'll have coffee later on. So my maximum caffeine intake for the day is about 1 coffee, 1 pre-workout max, which is quite good. Mint tea is really good if you're trying to replace caffeine, because it's a natural stimulant in the morning. So obviously it doesn't contain any caffeine, but the natural smell of peppermint is proven to wake you up in the morning. I've done a little bit of reading on it, so yeah, apparently mint is good for stimulating wakefulness and your circadian rhythm in the morning. So yeah, we're giving these a go. If you're looking for a caffeine-free alternative, here you go. Thank you to New Zest for sending me some samples. So I'm going to try the smooth vanilla today. Alright, I'm going to add more milk. So I actually ended up using 200 grams of milk, so some fruit. So we're just making our pre-workout drink now. So of course, I'm going to start with 1 scoop of glutamine, and this is going to help with your recovery because it's an essential amino acid. So I always add this in with my creatine and other bits and bobs just for the sake of making life easier. And of course creatine, 1 scoop of creatine always a day. You don't need to be taking any more than that, any less, just 1 scoop, which is about 3 to 5 grams a day. And this is going to help with not only your muscle growth, it's also going to help with your brain function, your cognitive function, so it has lots of other benefits as well. It's the most studied supplement ever, I think, so there's plenty of research if you want to go and look at some papers on it, but there's so many benefits to taking it, and how much stronger you're going to feel when you are taking it is insane. So this is the #1 gym supplement I would recommend that everyone needs to be taking. There are no negative side effects unless you do not drink enough water. If you don't drink enough water, then it can affect kidney function, but you need to be drinking at least 2 litres of water with it. Lastly, I always half dose my pre-workout anyway because I just find going in straight with a full dose, it gives me a headache, makes me feel like I'm going to faint. So you've got to remember pre-workout is very strong, there's a lot of caffeine in it, and it also contains beta-alanine, which is that itchy feeling you get in your muscles. That is the supplement that can also help with muscle pump, so getting the blood to your working muscles when you're working out. Beta-alanine, I finds to give my skin a bit of a reaction, so I suffer with eczema, so it does flare up my skin slightly, which is why I take less pre-workout than the recommended dose. Half a scoop does me really nicely, and it means I'm not overly reliant on it, but you know, if you want 2 scoops when you're feeling like you really want to push for a PR or something, then go for it. Half a scoop of pre-workout, 3 to 5 grams of creatine, and 1 small scoop of glutamine to help with recovery. So that is my pre-workout drink that we're going to be popping in the fridge for now. So that's breakfast done. So I don't like to go to the gym straight after I eat my breakfast because I just feel really bloated, and you've got to give about an hour for your food to digest. I think that's optimal for me. So in about the next hour, I'm just going to be doing some cleaning. I've just got a bit of work to do on the laptop, and then I'm going to head to the gym. I've got to take an e-scooter today because Billy has the car, but I'm not going to film and ride because I will definitely fall off. I will see you after I train legs, and we're going to have a little lunch.
A few moments later.
So I just got back from the gym, and I literally got soaked on e-scooter on the way home. It made the journey a bit quicker. It's about 10-15 minutes instead of like a 35-minute walk, but because I was scooting into the rain, it was all going in my face, so I was literally scooting home like this. So that was really pleasant. I'm sure everyone had a good laugh at me. I'm gonna make some avocado and cottage cheese on toast for lunch, so I will take you along. Wholemeal bread. This is a really lazy girl what I eat in a day today, although actually no, I'm lying, because when Billy comes home from work, I'm cooking us chicken stroganoff, so that requires quite a lot of planning, you know, cooking your own sauce from scratch, so I'll give myself that. But yeah, obviously the breakfast and lunch is pretty basic, but why does it need to be complicated? As long as you've got whole foods, you've got some protein in there, and then you're fine. Eat what you want. The easier the better, I say. So now we're going in with our cottage cheese. I really like this one from Woolworths, and it's pretty cheap. So yeah, give a good generous dollop of that on top. Then I like to season it with salt, pepper, paprika, and an Aussie classic, which I didn't know people love over here, is chicken salt. Everyone here, they're like, you go and get chips and they're like, oh, do you want chicken salt on your chips? And I'm like, yes. Chicken salt on there. A little bit of normal salt. A little bit of pepper. And a little bit of paprika. Lovely. 5:45 now, so I'm going to start cooking chicken stroganoff. Yeah, this should be quite nice, high protein. I've got some chicken breast here. I think I'm going to sear the chicken breast off in the pan first, just to make sure it's crispy on the outside, and then I'm going to put it in the oven while I make the sauce in the same pan to soak up all the chicken juice. Going to chop them in half just so they're not so thick. Butterfly almost. So the chicken's just gone in the oven. I've seared it off, so I popped it in the oven at 180 degrees, and that's just going to cook the middle through, just so it's not raw. But searing it before putting it in the oven straight away just gives it a nice flavour, in my opinion, and a bit of crisp, a bit of texture, because we all know chicken breast can be a bit dry. Now we're going to chop up the potatoes. We're going to give them a good boil. Doesn't really matter how small you chop them, but the smaller you chop them, the quicker they'll cook. Alright, pop these in to boil. Always make sure you salt your mash water and make the mash more delicious. Trust me on this one. Now we can start prepping the sauce. So, easiest to cut first. Get a good portion of mushrooms and chop these up nice and finely. We're probably going to run the sauce through my NutriBullet just to make it smoother. Half a white onion. So the trick to cutting an onion, or how I like to cut it, is I like to do vertical cuts just before the root. So when you cut an onion in half, make sure you cut it so that you don't cut the root off, and that way it stops it from making your eyes water. So vertical cuts just up until the root, but keep the root on till last minute. Then you're going to do cuts towards the inside, like so, just mind your fingers. And then as you cut, they should be perfectly cubed. Now I would use more garlic, but we've only got 2 cloves left, so crush them, chop them up. They don't need to be chopped super small, because remember, if we're blending it anyway, it doesn't really matter. So I've got 2 cloves of garlic, about 100 grams of mushrooms, and half a whole onion. And we're going to fry this up in the same pan that we fried the chicken in for the flavour. So I just added some paprika, salt and pepper, just to season the veggies a little bit. They're starting to brown off a bit, so we're just going to cook them for a few more minutes, just so the garlic and the onions don't burn. And then we can add in our vegetable stock first, then our cream. We're going to add the vegetable stock. So I'm adding about 200 mils. So you're going to let it simmer with the stock for a few minutes, and then we can add in our cream to make sure not to heat up the cream in the pan too much, or it will curdle. So I'm going to add the light cream, and then when it simmers for about 5-10, then I'm going to blend it in the NutriBullet. So the way to test if your potatoes are ready to be mashed is just to put a knife into them, and if it slides off the knife without any resistance, then they're done. I've just drained my potatoes. Going to pop them back into the hot pan, and that's going to help the butter melt. Generous dollop of butter. Then we let the heat do its thing. You can see the butter melting, and I'm just going to start smashing the potatoes up. Just simple bits and bobs to the mash, salt and pepper, generous amount of salt, although the sauce will be quite salty anyway, and a bit of pepper. I'm going to add the cream to start to thicken it. So whilst we were doing all that, the chicken is finished. As you can see, it's nice and crispy on the outside, cooked through on the inside. So I'm going to leave them in the oven to keep warm while I prep all the rest of the bits and bobs. Another tip, forgot to say, I'm also going to add the chicken juice from the cooked chicken into the sauce to make it even nicer. One last stir before it goes into the NutriBullet. Here we have our stroganoff sauce. Looks disgusting, but it shall be delicious. I'm gonna plate up now. So I forgot to have my midday snack earlier because I was just busy. So I'm gonna put these strawberries on a stick and I'm gonna have them with some Nutella. There you go, you get charged bloody £10 for this in Wonderland. And I'm also gonna have a cheese stick. So I've got to find a way to get the Nutella on there now. Ah, kinda looks nice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Stop.
Sorry, I forgot it a little bit.
Right everyone, that's my what I eat in a day done. And let me know what other videos you want to see in the comments. And remember to like and subscribe. Okay, right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.